and good morning. I'll welcome you back to Uganda Crossroads, but at the same time, I hope you're doing great. My name is David Lubuurwa, and we're here live in Live TV studios and Campfire TV USA. We appreciate you from wherever you're watching us from when we come here and discuss different issues. Now, last Saturday, I was alone here because Sarah Joy, Harry Taylor, and other guests were not around with us. But this Saturday is going to be another unique Saturday because everyone is in the house, apart from here, of course. But Sarah is back, and we have two new guests who are also glad to be part of the project that we are working on as Uganda Crossroads. But first, this week has had so many things happening one after another. We saw the Nantaba case, we saw the Fresh Kid case, we saw Museveni in Kenya, we saw so many things that happened that leave a question where Uganda is standing today. In other words, who owns Uganda and how is Uganda operating lately? We saw Uganda Airlines coming up with a 0.001% shares owned by the government of Uganda, and within just 48 hours, other things happened that the government said, oh, we now have full control of these shares. Now, among other topics, that's what we're going to look into in details today with all these great men and women who are here to share with us. Now, guys, the breaking news so far that we've just gotten right now from my producers is that another people power candidate from Nkumba University has won the elections. This now topples up for, all the universities that now are led by a people power affiliate. We know the names as Ruswata Bailun, who has been campaigning also under the People Power flag. So from Chambogo to Nkumba University to Makerere University, now People Power owns the control as compared to the elections that have been going on over the years. The opposition, of course, has been winning Makerere University through FDC or other political parties like DP, but now the new movement is taking control of all of these posts. So guys, I want to thank you so much for coming in, and I'm going to give you just a few minutes or seconds for each to just mention out the names. Of course, I know that we have Juba in the house. He will also say it again. He's a political analyst, he's a commentator and so many things. We have Aman, he's also an advocate for change, a political analyst, and of course, Sarah Joy, an advocate for change in Uganda and, a political analyst. So, guys, I want to thank you for coming. Let me start with,
sorry, excuse me.
Of course, in most cases, ladies first. So I'd like to start with Sarah. Sarah, how have you been? People miss you last Saturday.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm back in shape. I wasn't feeling right last weekend, and you're discussing issues happening in Uganda. You must be in a very sober and alert mind because a lot is happening. So I'm good, and I'm back, and just like whatever happens every week, Uganda is an interesting. I call it. It's more of Hollywood. So much is happening in Uganda. Every week you have something new coming out of Uganda that is shocking. It's worse than what happened the previous week. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Let me go straight to Jumba.
Hello, viewers. My name is Eddie Jumba, just as the moderator said. This is my second or third time appearing on this program. I'm very grateful, and I'm looking forward to a good show today.
Thank you. So now when I can go further, tell us. What's going on?
I am very happy to be here. What's going on is painful, and that's why I decided to come today and talk about it, because I think that everyone's voice is a tough ally to this struggle. So, and I'm very, very, very happy to have the opportunity to be here.
Okay, all right. So thank you. So I'm glad that I have again 3 People Power affiliates, so just people who advocate for change. All right, so let me start with the breaking news from Nkumba University. Byron Ruswata wins the elections. What does that tell the public today? Now that we know Chambogo University is led by a People Power affiliate, Makerere University is led by a People Power affiliate. Now, Nkumba University. I'm going to give it open. What does it mean today?
It's very exciting. And literally, even when Makerere started, I don't even think in the beginning, Bobi Wine was paying much attention to what's happening. Because whatever is happening in Uganda right now, it's, call it whatever you want, but there's the hand of God. Change is gonna come whether you want it or not. That's why so many things have been happening, and they are unscripted, unplanned for, and they just keep happening. And the revolution, the people waking up and demanding for change and being in control of situations is arising on a daily basis. Ugandans are becoming more aware and have become more awakened each and every day. You look at the situation of Makerere University. In the beginning, I wasn't even following up what was happening. But again, you cannot take it away. You know, these universities have been very vital in determining the politics of the country. Look at most of the people in politics today have been either
guild presidents,
yes,
or
they've been guild presidents of Makerere University. Go to Mau was a guild president of Makerere University. Basalirwa was a guild president of Makerere University. Mbide was a guild president of Makerere University. So you have most of the guys who are involved in university politics. You have the likes of Odongoto who are very active when it came to politics of Makerere University. The Dan Kidegas, most of the youth were very, very active. Then when you go way back, most of the what you would call the older cadres were largely involved in the university politics. So when you see how it plays out, you cannot now underestimate that the people power has taken over universities. It started with Makerere University, and it was, I looked at the number of votes compared to the NRM candidates, and I was just amazed. Even from the first person to the second person, and again, I was very glad that Bobi Wine had to meet and talk to the country and talk to other aspirants who are coming up, right, that if you're going to divide the people power vote, it's best you guys sit back and have a consensus. Just imagine if those votes are not divided, they would have won by over 90%.
Right.
Yeah, people power. So then we went to Chambago University, it's the same. When we went, now it's in Kumba University. What is it telling you? The young people now know what you want. You cannot dispute and say, or you cannot, you can never take away politics from university politics. Yep. That's where it starts from. All leaders most of the leaders, if you look at most of the leaders around the world, or some of the African leaders have been largely involved in university politics before they went into active politics on the other side. So this is a very good picture. It shows us, but then this has really, I would call it an infection that has eaten up from university. I've seen even in primary schools, people are now campaigning on the people power ticket. Yes.
All right.
So this infection, people are looking at it. I've seen people like kind of Tafire being dismissive, or I've seen some of the NRM people being dismissive in a way that Bobi Wine, this is going to go away, because this is not Bobi Wine. This is Ugandans waking up and knowing that we need change, and we are not going to demand it from anyone. Right. It is entirely us as Ugandans coming together, fight for what we want, demand for what we want, and we are going to get it. And I'm very happy where we are going. I want us to win all universities. I saw they were blocking, they blocked the people power candidate from standing in Gulu University. I don't know if it has been rectified, but I'm telling you, this is going to go down to the grassroots, because if you have primary kids, the campaigning, library prefect, head of prefect, and they are putting out their points as people power candidates. They are telling their fellow students, I'm here to serve you, not to serve myself. I'm here to do whatever you want. This is and I'm telling you, this wave, whoever thinks that I had Fonopono saying it's a cloud that is going to go away. This is a cloud that is going to stick, and it is going to stick for a very, very long time.
All right. So, thank you, sir. Right. So, Jumba.
Yes, sir.
What comes into your mind when you look at the wave that people power is winning all universities?
One of the things I want to start with is with a statement that was made by Ofonopondo and Otafire. I'm not surprised if they make those kind of statements. These are people that they know the status quo is being shaken. What you see today with people power is what we call critical mass. We've reached that stage where we get to that critical mass and something has to give. And this is what is really happening today. The victory of people power leaning candidate is a microcosm of what is happening in the entire country. Because these are kids that are coming from different parts of the country. And you can see that they can be a sample of what Uganda is. These kids are coming from the west, the north, the east, the central, and all these other parts of the country. If it was only Makerere, that you would have called it an outlier. So it's not Makerere. So it's a real pattern. Something systemic is happening. And the Americans want to use the word tsunami. It is a tsunami.
Yeah.
It is going to sweep many people. We've started with universities. I don't know where it's going to end, but I know where it's going to end.
All right.
Yeah.
So Armand, Jumba said that he doesn't know where it's going to end. What you're seeing today, with the young people coming up in Lubuurwa North, Kasamanti people power want to ask Kasamanti by fronting Victor Kamenya, who is also a musician. So what does that tell you in line with the leadership in universities?
What I have to say about the university leadership is, it is so rewarding to see the same response. It is so rewarding. It gives a message that all the struggles of the people that are within this are not in vain. It pays off. You know, in NRM you get rewarded by either a car or some money or whatever. But to us, this is what pays off. But the other important thing that I recognize is that all these university guild presidents, these are minds. I have had the gentleman who lost, he's a people power advocate, he's a law student, he's called Mukisa Joshua. He lost in the Makerere, he was a second runner in the Makerere. Have you heard that guy speak? He's so eloquent. These are the minds, these are the fiscal policies that people have been looking for in people power. These are the people who are going to run the country in the future, and in the future not being very far away. So people should trust that there are people being recruited. They are going to serve the country. They have the country at heart. They've seen the pain of going to hospital without medicine, or driving through a pothole, of being stopped by a policeman and being shot range, or on the spot with no justification, just because you're riding a motorcycle. These things are going to change, and the message is clear, and it is better that it is in the young blood that is going to run or rule in after 2021.
All right, guys. So that was a great opening. I want to thank you so much. So
can I make an interjection?
Sure.
I'm still want to go back to that statement that was made by Otafire.
Right.
My sister brought it out. But Otafire, this is a guy who lost an election to a man who was in jail. And Otafire must have even been part of the people who engineered this guy to be in jail. You remember the captain? So the guy, Otafire, was campaigning alone in the entire constituency with all the resources of the national resistance movement, and he lost an election. Now, you want to tell me this is the guy scaring Ugandans that if you bring Bobby Wine, the army will overthrow? Let him try. But let me tell you this. If I was Otafire today, I would be preparing to go home and retire and rear ducks. Because believe you me, the people power movement, this wave is going to sweep them come 2021. Now, one of the fears that people have is there's so many people that are coming up to stand in the opposition. To me, it is not scaring me at all. It shows vibrancy. It shows the enthusiasm of the people. I know this will be sorted out. The best among the opposition will stand and they will win. Because today, the national resistance movement, Museveni and his team, cannot sell anything to Uganda. What can they sell?
Yeah.
If it is milk, it is expired and dead.
If
it's medicine, if it's medicine, it's poison. What are they going to sell? Junk helicopters to Uganda? I mean, what are they selling to the electorate? Just tell me what. Look at the hospitals. I'm sorry, my brother. I know we are running short of time. We get a speaker, the Honorable Kadaga, who I really, really love. She gets sick. They call it fatigue. She's rushed to one of the private hospitals in Uganda. Now, she's rushed to our referral hospitals in Nairobi. Now they are telling us she's going to be taken to Spain. Now, these are the people we've been telling that please handle the healthcare system, because one of these days it's going to be you. And it's going to be so. We've just had some breaking news about the Mutevile.
Yeah,
we don't know whether it's going to be fatigue, but the next thing Mutevile is going to be in India or is going to be in London. And guess what? These guys spend more than 400 million US dollars for health care. The officials of Museveni, this group, enough money to refurbish every hospital in Uganda.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Can I interject a little bit? Just a simple point I'll make. You know, I didn't want to elaborate with the feeling thing, but he elaborated it. But I've seen this clip going around on social media, and I want to tell every Ugandan, don't let people like Otafire scare you. Because if you say that if governments will change government or there's gonna be a coup, who is gonna? The people in the army who have benefited from this regime and who are happy are not even 10%. Majority. There's been a picture that is going around on social media that is showing the barracks of where these police women and men stay. You got to just move around all the police barracks in Uganda. Just move around all the army barracks in Uganda. One time I shared here and I said, I've been to Enaguru police barracks. I have seen a family share an input. What separates them is a curtain, and people are arguing as wrong. I'm like, people, you don't know what I'm talking about. I have been there myself. Because there's a project I was working on and we ended up in the barracks. I was so shocked at what I saw. So these people, the policemen and women who are earning 250,000 a month, are not any different from another Ugandan who is living the same situation. A policeman in Uganda cannot afford to take their children for proper medical care. Recently, I shared on social media a video that went viral. Someone was in Old Mulago Hospital and they got this video and sent it to me. She sent me a message on Facebook and said, Sarah, I'm in Old Mulago Hospital, but this is the situation. I got the video put on social media and I shared it with some of the bloggers. But that's the situation you have right now in Uganda. So Otafire to wake up and even tell us that, oh, you know, if you vote Bobby Wine into power, there's going to be a coup. Please don't scare us. The level at which Ugandans are at is, Ugandans are no longer scared of coups. That is not our worry right now. Our worry is having medication in hospitals. Our worry is seeing the few, the Kadagas, the Muteviles being able to access medical services outside Uganda. And 99.9% of Ugandans are dying in Uganda because they cannot be able to access. How many Ugandans have opportunity to be flown out to Nairobi?
All right. That's a good question.
I will.
Let me finish up with you. Yeah, on that topic.
On the issue of hospitals, last week had over like a number of issues going on, but one of the things in healthcare that was very challenging to understand, because when you say, oh, there's no hospitals in Uganda, people are dying, people are suffering, they're going to say, we spent, Parliament just approved $379 million to build a hospital in Uganda. Now let me elaborate on this story. This is the theft that we want to fight. This is robbery. But these are the pitching points of the NRM. They'll say, oh, you guys keep saying there are no hospitals. Now we've given you money to approve a hospital and you're objecting to it. The company that is going to receive this money is a furniture company in Dubai. It sells furniture. It has never built a single hospital. So they are going to give $379 million to a furniture selling company in Dubai to build a hospital in Lubuurwa, a hospital that is quote unquote going to be a specialized hospital with the best equipment. Teba Balimba Bana Uganda. The most in South Africa, in Durban, I've visited. In Durban, the most expensive hospital is $21 million. Look it up. It's called Dr. Prixley Hospital. It's $21 million. The hospital has 500 beds. It is a world-class, fact check. It's a world-class hospital. 21 million. Now Uganda, poor as we are, we are approving $379 million.
Yeah, because
it is so disturbing. Those
just as the complaint has always been that Uganda is, the government is not taking care of its people. So maybe they're trying to propose something new. Maybe this time it's going to work. That's why they ask for that money.
No, but why don't you renovate Mulago Hospital? You have so many hospitals that are in Uganda that are in a dire state. Why don't you? The structures are already there. You just have to renovate and equip. Because what you need in an advanced, because it's gonna be a building with machines and all that. Why don't you just equip the hospitals you have right now in Uganda?
There is a notion.
And you see the funny thing in all that came up. You are approving money. I don't care whether it's a loan. I've seen people, trying to water it down, or it's a loan, whatever it is. You are giving this money. You claim you're giving this money to an investor. So what is investment? Who is an investor in Uganda? Because if Uganda has gotten into a state of giving money to investors, then Uganda is one of the richest countries in the world. I saw Uganda donating money to, was it Zimbabwe, Zambia?
Right. The cyclone.
When have we started donating money when we are sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars of national debt? Where do we get the guts to donate money?
We should term that as a sign of sympathy and
Ugandans are in a worse dire state.
True.
I'm telling you, Ugandans are in a worse dire state. You have graduates, students, you have people who are coming out of university and they're jobless, they're on the streets. Where do you get the guts of donating food to your neighbor when your kids in the house have not eaten for a week? However generous you are. I'm telling you, Ugandans are in a worse dire state. Where do you get the guts to start donating money when Ugandans are dying? You've seen examples of people dying when there is no blood. A friend of mine, and I'm talking of a friend of mine was going to literally lose her life from Lubuurwa hospital. The entire hospital ran out of blood. She was in surgery, she bled too much, they had only 5 liters of blood. Because she was bleeding, the entire hospital they ran out of blood. I'm telling you this, I'm not telling you a story. Another friend of ours had to call the guy in charge of the National Blood Bank, because he was a friend, and said, we need your help. We need your help. And I'm telling you, out of this surgery, because they had to save her life, she had to lose one of the most important organs in her body. They had to take it out because they wanted to, get done with the surgery.
There is a notion that every project that government comes up with is being debated and discouraged
because it's fake.
People.
You want us to make us run 100 miles right now because it's fake. Look at Uganda Airlines. You come to Parliament and you want to approve all these billions of money, and Uganda Airlines 99.9% belongs to an individual.
All right, I'm glad to open up the Uganda Airlines.
Before we go to Uganda Airlines, really, my sister touched something about health. I mean, these hospitals.
I know.
You look, he was defining this guy selling furniture, and beyond that, this guy was also mentioned in some of those
scandals.
The scandals. Of the papers, those papers with people that are investing in the Cayman Islands. But what these people should know, that a healthcare system is more than buildings.
Yeah.
You have to develop a system. You have to involve the stakeholders. The doctors in Uganda, what are they saying? The medical professionals, they are against this hospital.
They're not even paid.
They are not even paid because we are not looking for new buildings. We have Mulago Hospital. We have all these hospitals in different places. What you need today is to empower this healthcare system, to look at it. What's the rot in it? The payment, the procurement, the machines, the training, the motivations, the people, all the things, the prevention and so on. Because healthcare is beyond buildings and these machines. You can have fancy machines. Now, let me tell you this.
You don't even have a cancer machine in Mulago.
Yeah.
You have never replaced it, and you want to approve money to an
specialized hospital.
Someone gave a joke. It's just a joke. That he took the X-ray he got from Uganda to somewhere to be read, and they looked at the X-ray, and inside there was a cockroach. and they said, "Oh no, you must have cockroaches in your lungs." They said, "Oh no,
it's
the cockroaches were in the machine." and this is about Uganda. Now, to conclude my point, the people today that are bankrupting the country, they know that they can fly out
And get the treatment.
Just like that and get treatment. They will be in Nairobi, our referral regional hospital. They will be in India. They will be in the US. Now, these are guys who can wake up in the morning, get on the jet and go out. They have kids that get their babies from abroad. Now, this is what I'm saying. The Ugandan people, the population, the Ugandan must stand up and liberate their country. They have to take their country back. One thing my brother mentioned about the fiscal policies, where these young people that are coming up are going to articulate these fiscal policies. But I'm of the view that what we need to do, we don't need a person who is know-it-all. Because Museveni came and we ended up with a cult and a dictator who thinks that he can think for everyone, he can micromanage the country.
Right.
Today what we want is a person who can assemble the best team to run the country. The country, someone who has Uganda at heart.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we'll get the best to run the country.
All right, thank you. So, you guys mentioned about the Uganda Airlines, but before I go to Uganda Airlines, let me just make this clear about the Mulago Hospital Women's Wing. It's a fact that though it was built, the Women's Wing, as per now, what we know, even the public there, is that many of the women in Uganda cannot afford the prices that were put in that hospital. So that is still going on for now and then. But as you know, I want to go down to the people who are live on Facebook and read a few comments because it's always good to share with you guys and also hear what you have to say. So when you have a question, please post it, and if you can share to your friends. So let me try to look into one of the major questions that have come in right now. Mwanga Edgar says the main problem isn't about hospital buildings, it's about lack of medicine. Yes, I think you guys you've mentioned about that. Let me read one more before I come back to Uganda Airlines, because that's one of the things that have been making headlines all throughout the week. Let me read Florence Kobisinger's comment. She says, if you think about it all, our bets are on young people. The older generation has screwed up the country and they have no plan to bring about change. So I think you guys will also agree with that. Somehow I disagree with it, so I don't know for whatever reason.
You see, I've seen someone mentioning it's a lack of medicine in the hospitals.
Right.
It is not only medicine. You lack the proper medical personnel who are motivated and willing to take care of you. I've been treated in Uganda before, and I've been treated in the US. And I always give an example. In December, I ended up in the emergency section. But because I came into the emergency, I had 4 doctors who did not care how much money I have, who did not even ask me whether I had any penny, and I had about 3 nurses all attending to me. I do not know how many scans I did. I do not know. They were wheeling me from, I'm not even walking. Someone is outside my hospital room wheeling my bed from one place to another. I'm enjoying medical services. I do not even care how much they are going to be, because at that point in time, I'm not thinking about the man, I'm thinking about my life. What have the first world countries, what have they done? Is they put someone's life first. You get into the emergency section, all they need is your name. They do not ask how much money you have. The insurance bit, whether you have insurance, comes in later. All the doctors are working. And I'm telling you, Christmas is a holiday. I ended up in a hospital on a holiday. But doctors, everyone is caring about saving my life. Not about how much money I have, where do I come from, who am I American, am I not? No one cares about that. Everyone is caring about putting my life first and seeing that my life is back on track.
All right.
But you have also, what do you have in Uganda? You have the medical personnel. They've been demotivated. How is the guy going to take care of you when he has not had a meal? He's poorly paid. These guys get almost 1 million. What is 1 million on someone who spent, you know how much it takes to go through Makerere University on a private sponsorship or doing a degree in medicine?
Can you translate 1 million in dollars, because it will come up really well?
In dollars, about $300 or $250.
And that's a month.
That's a month. That's what they get. But do you know how much money it takes for someone to go through the medicine school for because they study for 5 or 6 years? It takes a lot of money. So you have the medical personnel so demotivated. When they come up and say, you know what, you need to increase our welfare, the president of Uganda wakes up and says, I'm importing medical doctors from Cuba. We've been waiting. I don't know if they were ferrying, I don't know if they're using border borders, but they could be somewhere by now. We could have seen them crossing if they were using border borders. I don't know if they're walking on foot. I don't know if they had snails. I don't know if they're being transported on snails to Uganda. But if you have doctors that are not paid, nurses that are demotivated, and money is being lost left and right, you do not expect, even if the medicines have the medicine, the doctor will end up giving a wrong prescription because he's demotivated. He's worrying about his family, he's worrying about school fees. So the whole thing has to be changed. You need to work on the medication because we've seen, you saw the NTV, the NBS and the BBC journalists who are trying to to establish what happens with the government medications. They were being arrested for doing the right thing. So the whole lot is rotten. The whole lot is rotten.
All right, so the whole thing is rotten. Now I want to go into the 0.0001%, the Uganda Airlines. And first I want to ask you guys, because I think you've done much more research than I did. Who owns the 99+%? Because yes, we understand that yesterday, within this week, the minister came out and said, you know what, we've changed everything, so we have full ownership of the airlines. First things first. Who owned, yes, if it was changed, who owned the 99%?
So from what I've learned, they were supposed to plan for this thing in July last year, 2018. And everything, the rumors about Uganda Airlines started coming up. Someone had the name. They checked with the registrar and the name Uganda Airlines was available. It was a scheme for someone to steal money. I think that someone started speculating, oh, we have to pay someone to buy the name back. That was not true. When they checked with the registrar of companies, Uganda Airlines was still available for to be taken on by a government. The names that were taken already was like something like Wings Uganda and something else called Air Uganda, but the name Uganda Airlines was still owned. When they agreed that okay, let's go start the process of purchasing these planes. They drafted, and I forget what it's called, but they drafted a document that shows where the shares are allocated. Now, the Minister of Finance, Matia Kasaija, owned 1%. The Minister of Works, these are the people who are involved. The Minister of Works owned another. So the Minister of Finance owned 0.5%. The Minister of Works owned another 0.5%. That's 1%. Then the Uganda government owned 0.05%. Initially, this is how they drafted it. And then the other percentage, they were claiming that they were going to put it up
for the
public to buy shares.
It's total fraud.
Now let me clarify. Name any company in Uganda. Umeme, Enhance, and find out who owns majority shares in those companies and tell me. So it was another plot that they were putting up shares for themselves to purchase. Now, and that is legal. The government can display shares for the public to buy genuinely in a government. That's how government sometimes makes money. But on that document, remember I talked about the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Works. They are supposed to be acting on behalf of the government. But on this document, they were not specifying that they were acting on behalf of the government. They were taking the shares for themselves.
All right. So let me ask Jumba. Do you see any kind of plot here, or it's? I think everything was done legally, not illegally.
Give me a chance to complete the story. So they were acting on behalf of themselves. So the opposition the minority, they call it a minority document or something. They brought a document and observed this document that the ministers were trying to put up, and they discovered that, wait, these guys are only acting on behalf of themselves and not the government. That was one. And then they asked, why don't you rectify it? And in that meeting, in that minute, the Minister of Works stood up, and in the parliament at that moment, she stood up and said, no, that is wrong. We've just corrected it and we've agreed that Uganda owns 100%. right there and then, within the minute. So it's, honestly, it's fraud. And the problem is, you've heard me say the name Matia Kasaija. The biggest problem we are having right now is there is no consequences for people's actions. Matia Kasaija was in the OTT tax. Something changed. I don't know if you remember, the Minister of Finance. Something changed also overnight. Oh, I wasn't around. It was 1%. Now it is 0.5. These are the names that keep coming up. You remember that story of...
My brother, before I proceed, no, I'm giving him the mic back. That day in Parliament, the next day they come up with documents that shows that a company, which is Uganda Airlines, was registered on the 26th. And on the 27th, the register of companies had already approved it in one single day.
Which has never happened in Uganda.
It cannot happen.
Before Uganda, it took us almost a month.
The entire thing is fraud. But Ugandans don't be fooled. Uganda Airlines belongs to Sam Kutesa. And today I want people to quote me. The person who is going to be running Uganda Airlines is Patience, the daughter to Museveni. Watch the space and see what happens. If whatever they succeed to get money to get the airlines here, it's Patience who is going to be running airlines. I've told you before, she failed exams at the aviation school, and the teacher who was teaching was forced to make her pass. She failed like 3 times to pass. So you're going to have an incompetent person running Uganda Airlines. That is Patience. Watch the space, you're going to see it happen.
But is it
Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. Airlines as a business is one of the toughest business that even a small scandal brings it down, leave alone the crashing of planes and so on. And the profit margin on airlines is so small that an incompetent government like Museveni's government cannot run an airlines. Don't believe you me. Uganda Airlines that they're starting today cannot survive for more than 6 months. Never.
Going back to the ownership. But you see what is annoying me? For me, I'm looking at the acquisition of Uganda Airlines as a decoy, as a plot to steal money.
Exactly,
because let's use common sense. If you say Kasaija and the other person owned 0.5%, that's 1%. So who owned the 99%? It cannot be in space. Someone must own it. You cannot say, there was a company called National something. It cannot be in space that no one owns it. So if the intention was to sell shares to Ugandans, there must be someone selling. Because if it does not belong to the Uganda government, it does not belong to Kasaija, it must belong to someone who intends to sell shares to Uganda government.
And recoup his money.
And the person who owns the 99% is Sam Kutesa. So, and I'm so happy we have people like Wadri in Parliament. We have, because we have a parliament that is full of also very dormant opposition that only care about the 25 million they earn and get home. And I want everyone to watch them for the next election. This was, just imagine, we were going to pass almost 280 billion for an individual. And I'm telling you, either these planes are going to come, the Airbus, or these guys, all of a sudden something is going to happen and they are going to keep away the money for themselves. Because just like he said, why are they investing in a business that has very little profit margins? Because they're going to lose money. And they know very well in a short period of time. How many Ugandans are willing to risk? How much? You see, you've had airlines drop certain destinations because they're not making money at all. They're not making money. One of the airports that doesn't have a traffic flow is Entebbe Airport. It doesn't have really much traffic flow. So, and I've seen the route they've given Uganda Airlines, and the route doesn't make really much sense because when you see the way other airlines operate, Uganda is not going to make money. So in a space of 1 year or less than 1 year, it's going to be shut down. But the thing we should look at is right now, whoever wants the 200, first of all, the money that bought in the first place came from Ugandans, and you're buying for individuals. We should go back, because before even they approved the second lot of money, we should go back to the first amount of money that bought was money that belonged to Ugandans. But by the time Ugandans, that money was paid, these Airbuses belong to individuals. So basically Ugandans are paying, a lot of taxpayers' money is going to enriching individuals like Sam Kutesa, like Kasaija.
I want to put this forward, right?
I'm telling you, hold up a second. The whole project must be scrapped. I don't care if we lose the money that is there, but we should go back totally to the drawing board. Exactly what happened from day one. Because as much as we are fighting to pay up the balance over us not knowing who entirely owns Uganda Airlines, it does not make sense even pay up the balance.
Now let me ask you a question. This is going to be an open question still. Is it illegal for Patience to be the boss for the Uganda Airlines? I mean, she's the first daughter of a country, and secondly, she has the right as a Ugandan to be the leader.
Can I answer you?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, my brother.
Yeah,
let him go first.
I want to answer in one question. If you hear that someone was failing to pass the exam, is running an airline, are you going to buy a Uganda airline ticket yourself?
Now going to that.
Okay, something to be wrong doesn't have to be illegal.
Yeah.
So something can be really illegal, but it's wrong. You can see nepotism 101. And to me, Patience, that entire first family, to them Uganda is just a property. So I really don't know whether today they still consider Uganda as a sovereign country where they are serving the interests of Ugandans, where we can use the ballot and the power of democracy to change them from government and replace them with people that can serve our country.
Yeah.
So to me, what Ugandans need today, why I'm bringing this out in the middle of the show, Ugandans must wake up today and take back their country, so that they can get the leaders that will be accountable to them. Leaders that they can say, please, you have misbehaved, you have swindled government money, you have wasted the taxpayers' resources, step aside. But a person who has been in power for 33 years and his family, being fed, housed and dressed by Ugandan taxpayers, and we cannot even move him by the ballot, and then he's telling us that he wants to continue. That's where I'm asking Ugandans, whatever means necessary, the government of NRM and the people around it must be removed out of power.
All right.
Talk about, briefly before you run away from it, one of the pilots who is going to be, I don't want to give a name now, but I'll give the name later because I know for sure. One of the pilots that is going to be operating, who is going to be navigating this airline, is related to the president. In fact, it should be, Museveni's sister is the mother to this boy. He's been studying in Canada, fully financed by the taxpayer. You understand? So basically, this is completely a family-owned business at the expense of Ugandans.
Well, and I think they are doing everything legally, not illegally, right?
No, but you see, you're talking that doing everything illegally. You've taken this when you raise issues like nepotism. You've taken a family, someone who belongs to the first family, to study on taxpayers' money, to come back and obtain a job. Yet there are so many Ugandans who have. There's an aviation school in Soroti. There are so many maybe competent who are able, and I don't think, do you think he's going to be given a job on merit that he's able, or he's going to be given a job just because he belongs to the first family and the taxpayers' money was spent on him? So if the first family sent him to study in Canada, whether he's good or not, he's going to be given a job. So tomorrow if you see Uganda Airlines crashing down, and he's been the one in the navigation, you know, in the chambers, don't be shocked.
So will that be good news for you guys?
It is not going to be good news, but because he's going to be given a job, not because he's competent.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be given a job because he belongs to the first family.
All right, guys. So I'm going to check you out, bro, because it's getting hard.
No, with that background, I imagine if whoever you're talking about can drive the presidential jet, because that would be a remedy to many Ugandan problems.
I am
No. Let me come back. Let me come back. I think no, we want them to be around to see Uganda being changed. We want them to be around to see a new president, a new system, and a country that serves all of us. I really want them to be there to see the changes we are pushing for.
All right, so this week again, something else happened, which is of course still in the mindset and everything of us today. The issue of Nantaba versus.
Do we have 1 minute? I just want to.
Actually, have a second.
I just remembered something. In 2000, President Museveni owned $60 million jet.
Right.
In 2009, that's about 9 years later, they bought him an $88 million jet.
As a president?
It's okay. Well, it's not, but let's say as the president. Now, where is the other old jet? And why doesn't it be part of the airlines? Why do we have to spend more money when there is a $60 million jet and there's a new $88 million jet?
I think
$148 million.
The last information I had, they had put it for sale for $32 million, something like that, because this was a new one, Gulfstream, the new one, the one they brought. So I think they were putting it on sale. But I think we should look at the larger picture, which takes me back to the other point. What is Uganda to these people as a country?
Right.
all right, so I'm going to pose the same question to the viewers who are watching us. What is Uganda to the current NRM government in terms of the First Family and all other subscribers? So I want to thank you so much. Now, guys, I hope people are going to give us the answer. What is Uganda? Is it a corporation, like how other people are calling it? Or is it a country? What is it to many of you? And to you who is watching us right now from wherever you are, what is Uganda? What is Uganda to you? Is it a corporation? Is it a country? Where do you see it coming or going? All right, so guys, there is this issue that happened last week of Minister Nantaba and Ronald Sewolime's death. Of course, there have been a lot of theories coming up. It was, first of all, a sad story, but to a certain extent, security-wise, if one was an advisor to the security organs we have in Uganda, they could make a good defense that maybe they expect something like that happen. And just because, remember last year, President Museveni came out to say that if you see a border rider following you up, do the needful, should. So maybe they were exercising the right or the executive privileges that were given, or executive orders, not this time privileges, but executive orders by the president, that when you see somebody following you up, maybe you shoot to death. So somebody lost a life. Are the debaters being, it was wrong? What do you guys have to say? But
you say, the president says when you see someone following you up, this guy, Nantaba was literally pursuing this guy. If you put all the stories that have come up together, there's a way the guy goes off the main road and Nantaba pursues him off the main road. There's a story from an older gentleman who said, and his bodyguard finds him and says, what are you doing here yourself? I think for starters, Nantaba needs to resign. Nantaba should be in jail. Nantaba needs to resign. Nantaba needs to be in jail. The police officer who shot this gentleman should be put on firing squad. Because
she was doing it. He was doing it.
You have already arrested someone and put them on handcuffs. What is the use of shooting them? You see, this kind of impunity is happening to countries where there is no rule of law. I just imagine if that had happened in a country like the United States. the family of Sebulumio is going to be one of the richest families. Do you know how much money they would have paid that family in compensation? Billions and billions of dollars. But when you have a country where there is too much impunity, you arrest someone, you put them on handcuffs, and at the same time, you get orders from above to shoot. Sebulumio was not found with a gun. In fact, after all that happened, they went and did a search at his home. There was nothing that was found. This was just a normal human being trying to look after his family. I felt so bad because he was a single father. The mother of the children died some years back. He was the only person the children had. And then Nantaba I've not seen any statement of her being apologetic. All she says, oh, from what? She's busy. You know, she's all over the place like a headless chicken, giving all kinds of statements that are uncoordinated. And she should first of all apologize to the family, to the children who have been left complete orphans, no father, no mother, and Nantaba should resign. I do not know where it is only in Uganda where something like this happens and the minister still holds, you know, his position. He would, if it happened in countries like United States, that same day should be out of office. Nantaba should be investigated because you suspected someone, you said you called the police. Right. She kept pursuing this guy. I don't blame the guy. At the rate at which, you know, people are being killed every day, he must have been running for his life.
Yeah, because
and the first story that came out.
That's the question I was going to ask you, because if somebody knew that he wasn't a suspect, why was he running? And I guess you've given a good answer.
He was also running for his life, because if you have, this woman, I don't know if she has security details pursuing you, you would be so scared. You've seen Ugandans being killed in broad daylight. You as well, you know, they're running after you, but you're also protecting your life. And at the same time, the story, I saw her first post on social media. She said how she had survived an assassination. Nantaba put up on social media on her page, you know, and every Uganda was like, oh my God, every Uganda was feeling sorry for her, yet she had just murdered someone. Nantaba, if she managed to go to Nagaramo police station, where she was given, where police started, you know, running after, and you know, why was she following up the guy? The whole story is cooked up. I do not know. I want to tell you, you know, later the police, because the first statement from the police spokesperson, again, it came from very unprofessional, incompetent people, because police in Uganda, what they do best, they say out stuff before even they research.
All right. So
now, he comes back later, and now they're apologizing that Sebulime was indeed killed wrongfully. He was not going to die.
Let me ask this question, because it has been bothering me for years. This is a personal question. In the United States, we know ministries have attorneys, or in other words, they have lawyers. And I think Juba will ask me, you answer this question. Does her ministry, or Nantaba as a minister, does she have lawyers who are supposed to come out first to give statements before she goes on anything?
She must have a PR before even he answers. The PR should have, because every office must be having someone in charge of their public relations. Right. The public relations must have come up to say something, because she has given so many uncoordinated statements
right,
from day one. And you've seen the police has come out and apologized for the miscommunication. The police, clearly, if you saw the statement, it came out, I think yesterday, a day before yesterday, the police came out and said that they had gotten all what are the police spokesperson Enanga came out and gave, the first, press conference, and he gave a press conference out of misinformation. He didn't even know what to say. And this has been happening in Uganda. Before they research, before they get all the facts together, boom, they are before media, because, you know, they want to cover face. And then later, they come up and put up a statement that, you know what, the guy was wrong-free. It was true, it was wrong-free kill. And I've seen also today, the CID called up Nantaba to report a statement. I think CID Chibuli, she failed to turn up. Well, I don't know what Nantaba is.
What we saw, we are not yet sure, but we are going to use the statement that the president asked her to stay at her place. We are not yet sure.
The president is the president of Uganda, but there is also the president works under the rule of law. When you have a rule of law, everyone is under that law, whether you're the president of Uganda.
And she was eager to allow these guys go to her place and they have a discussion.
You've been called to the CID. If the FBI calls you and then you give them a statement and you tell them, you know, you have to come to me because, you know, the president has said. Nataba claims she's innocent. She has nothing to worry about. Let her go to CID and record a statement. But I would request Nataba to resign. And people of Kayunga, if you're going to vote people like Nataba, Nataba's blood, the blood of Sebulime, Sebulime is not going to rest in peace. And Nataba should not come back to parliament. We are not going to be collecting murderers in parliament because they have the power, because they are being protected by government. I very well believe nothing is going to happen to the likes of Nataba.
All right, so
I very well know, because we want to know, is the guy who shot this Sebulime, is he behind bars? What has been done? What has been done? And on top of that, I've seen the lawyers of the family that have sued the government for almost 900 billion or something. Hope, you know, I'm only hoping that one, they have a case, and I'm only hoping the government can compensate them, because really this guy was killed innocently.
Let me ask this question to Jumbo.
Yes, sir.
If at all she was killed, what would be the statement from the public?
Who was killed?
If at all Nantaba.
In situations like this, we don't do hypothetical, because no one was really pursuing her. She pursued this guy with her team, and through extrajudicial killing, they killed this man. This man was executed in broad daylight. You've seen eyewitnesses who say that they took the guy off the pickup truck, placed him down, the officer moved backward 3 steps, and he said the orders have changed, and shot. Now, I want you to see the larger picture. Some days ago, President Museveni was somewhere, and this is what he said, that Monde tirabana abayimbi Bobi Wine abasirikale bange bamukubamu ebikonde. Now, what you're forgetting, that Museveni is using this, but forgetting that Kauma was killed.
Exactly.
In Arua. This was a violent encounter. Honorable Kyagulanyi, a member of parliament, was arrested by his Special Forces Command or Special Forces Group, brutalized, his driver killed, and the president is making a joke out of it. I mean, this is the president. Now, Chinua Achebe said in one of his books that when mother cow is eating, the young ones are watching its mouth. So when Museveni is joking about the death of Kauma, the driver of Honorable Kyagulanyi, what should Nantaba do when one of his escorts shoots a Ugandan? Now that's where I go back to the other question, that the road that we have today will take Ugandans to remove these guys out of power. To me, there is no shortcut about that.
All right, no shortcut. Norman, what's your view about that? Because I think I would come up with a theory that this gentleman was, of course, going after Nantaba, and of course, there are chances that, you know, you can never tell your family that I'm going to kill someone. You always come up with a story. So, what comes into your mind?
I mean, if he was trying to kill her, why was he killed after being arrested?
Wouldn't you need information?
Exactly. I think it's just.
I'm sure the police got scared. Maybe he had a bomb, so they had to.
It's mere common sense.
Fast.
It's mere common sense, and they are going to make up many stories to cover themselves. But the thing is, and this is what I hope for in the future, that people like Nantaba, people like that policeman, people like the other crooks that we have in government, they can face the consequences of their actions. Discipline comes from consequences. So these people deserve to, to be properly followed through. We are going to hear about reports and blah blah blah, and it will die. That is typical. I think there needs to be an overhaul. There needs to be a complete change of that. The story from what I saw is that Nantaba first reported. It's not because Nantaba says she asked her guard to shoot. The guy did not shoot. But then, when she called the police, the policemen are the ones who arrested and then took the guy out and shot him straight there and then. So it is sad that it is police. I don't know if I can defend many people, but you might say, okay, maybe military, but police took the guy out of the car and shot him. It is so sad and so painful.
Oh, all right, so...
My brother, can I say something for
sure.
a minute, please?
Sure.
To me, when the police, when Uganda police became a militia, that is after Kaihura. When Kaihura came in, he militarized the police, he turned it into an NRM militia, and today what they are doing is just a partisan job, and by the way, a terrible one as such, because they are doing it to Ugandans. Now, these are people who are sleeping in these terrible, dilapidated houses. I looked at them. My father was a police officer a long time ago. Most of you were not even born, even your parents maybe. Because my father served until 1986 as a police officer. The barracks were fine. Today they are sleeping in terrible, terrible conditions. And these are the people that you've militarized, politicized, give them guns, terrible pay, and then you want them to provide policing.
Yeah.
So it is really something
I want to end with this
Yeah.
with Sarah. Sarah, we always had a problem of General Kale Kaihura as the police boss. And after a certain time, we saw him out, and of course, we know what happened. Today, we have Ochola as the police boss, deputed by Sabit. Was the problem Kaihura or just the police force in general?
The entire police force is completely rotten. And Kaihura did not even make it any better. Kaihura ran some of the chiefest crews Uganda has ever had. Border Border 2010 is a chiefest crew. Border Border, you people have...
Sobi and Grow.
I'm telling you.
So come on and give us some good information about what was going on.
You guys, I've had a chance, because of the business I used to do, to deal with the border border. Some of the time of Kaihura, some of the border border riders had guns. You would be shocked. You would get to a border border stage, and these fellow riders knew who had a pistol.
For protection?
No, they've been given by the state. These are, first of all, informants. These are people who trail others. They do all kinds of dirty jobs for Kaihura. Most of the some of the border riders. Where is Chitata cropping up? Chitata had a lot of power than most of the people in government. Chitata had guns. I don't even know why he's denying. Chitata had guns. Chitata had a police detail. People had a patrol police that used to move with Chitata. Chitata had a lot of power. He spoke with a lot of... Chitata used to play from State House. Chitata had a lot of power, more than some of these ministers. Chitata had access to Museveni more than some of 2016 elections. They used the border chiefest crew to terrorize Ugandans. You saw the kids that had the red ribbon.
Right.
Who terrorized those kids? You had the likes of Gearbox. You had the likes of Cafero. You had the likes they used to run the border 2010 from Bokesa. Bokesa. That was another detention. You know how many border riders lost their lives from Bukesa?
Yeah, actually I saw many when I was still staying.
Border riders lost their lives. They lost their motorcycles. These guys would come to a stage, or they would find you on a motorcycle and the guy likes it. And it is taken. He doesn't care where he got the money from. He doesn't care whether it's on a loan. He doesn't care whether... This used to be one of the... You saw what they found in their offices when the police raided it. They had guns, they had armors, they had all kinds of things. So Kaihura didn't do even any... Kaihura ran one of the most effective chiefest crews. But they were not only working for Kaihura. They were working for Museveni. First of all, for your information, Chitata used to collect money for Kaihura.
Kaihura, right.
Every month, Chitata had to give almost 200 million to Kaihura from borders. From border riders. Did you know that the time of Chitata and Kaihura in office, border riders they used to collect from them 50,000 shillings around a week. It did not, and you did not have to have a receipt. It doesn't matter whether you paid yesterday. They would just find you, stop you, collect that money. All that money went to Kaihura.
All right. So, guys, we're having a few minutes. I've been notified by the producer.
Yeah.
One of the last things that I wanted us to look into is what was reported here in the Observer this week, and of course, I think the Montes has also released the same story, that the government is asking telecommunication networks for the people to register SIM cards again. Is this another kind of scheme, or it's a new development that the government wants to, you know, maybe is working on improving our security in the country? I'll start with Jim.
Can I ask him a favor that I start? Yeah. Because I was reading that particular information last night, and I said, do you have to register SIM cards? In the USA, do you have to do that?
No.
Because the telecom companies already have these names. That's it. Go to them and tell them, how many customers do you have? Give us those names. You don't have to line up Ugandans again. I mean, this is ridiculous. These are guys who have nothing to show the country. Now they are pretending that they are working. Honestly, it's another scheme of a few people that are going to present a budget to the parliament or to whatever ministry for so many billions to be used for registering SIM cards. Really?
I think that
my brother, go ahead.
I think that
oh God,
every time I hear of a scheme including registration and money coming from the government, I think about when we learnt in primary, we learnt about Maslow. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
You start with food, water, vichi, then you keep going up the triangle. In all of Uganda's problems, as you can imagine or even know, registration of SIM cards, electronic passports, $280 billion jets, tear gas, those things that they spend a lot of, but more recruitment of army officials when you can't pay the others, when the others are living in broken houses. Those are not our problems. It is basic, it is general knowledge. You go to the UPE student, maybe not UPE, but you go to any P7 child and ask him Maslow's, what do you think is priority? Should people starve or should we register them for SIM cards? How do we register them when they are dying? Do people have houses? Is there medicine in hospitals? Is there water in rural areas? Are people secure? Because, you know, shootings are rampant in Uganda, Buyondo, Katayimbwa, even the government themselves. Now, when you see a policeman in Uganda, you're supposed to either run for your life or run for your money, because they'll either take your money or your life. So that is the situation that we are in right now.
All right. So, sir, what's your opinion?
Ugandans have been, disrespected and used for a very long time. So why are you registering SIM cards again? For what? But you see, and again, if you have ministers like Nantabas heading the ICT, these are kind of people who are not even smart. The ICT department should be able to coordinate all information gotten from all, because this is all technology. Get all information to go. If someone buys, if I go and buy a SIM card, the ICT ministry should be able to coordinate with the telecom company and get the information I have. I'll give you an example, which I didn't know happens in this country. I kind of called 911 because I found an elderly person on the road that was lost. I called the police, and I didn't know, by me dialing 911, giving my number would bring my address.
Yeah.
The police read to me my address where I stay before. I'm like, how did you get my address? That's why I asked him on the phone. How did you get my address? All my information. When I bought a SIM card, I've never been to the police to give them my information. When I bought the SIM card, when I bought my phone, got the SIM card, the telecom company is able to share my information, because that's when I was told even there is a percentage we pay that goes to the police. I didn't even know. So the telecom company work with the police to provide all my information, because when I'm buying a SIM card, I provide my ID, all that information that they can share with the police. So again, having an incompetent minister of ICT instead of running after our brothers and sisters and having them killed, she would be smart enough to know that when we registered people for the first time, this information from telecom companies, because when you go to buy a SIM card, you provide your either passport or Ndagamuntu.
Yeah.
So instead of wasting time for Ugandans again, who really have again, they're going to extort money from them for such stupid things from telecom companies. The information they gathered from the other time, people use their Ndagamuntu, people use their passports. The ICT ministers, instead of running after our brothers and sisters and murdering them, and then coming up and giving uncoordinated statements, let her do her work as a minister, sit down with telecom companies, get that information, have it into her office so that they can do whatever they want to do.
As we finish up, yes.
Yeah, as we finish up, the incompetence that you see, those are some of the fruits of incompetence. Yesterday, a few days ago, a minister called Nachiwala comes up and tells this little young boy, fresh kid, that if you that I'm going to arrest you if I ever see you again on the shows. Now, listen, Nachiwala has so many other problems. In fact, fresh kid is one of the lucky few kids who are going to make it in Uganda. Yeah. She doesn't need Nachiwala's guidance. There are other kids, the kids from Karamoja who are on the streets of Kampala. There are kids in the rural Buganda and other areas of the country that cannot even go to school, even the UPE school. So Nachiwala, instead of concentrating all her energy on the fresh kid, this kid who has a talent, through his talent, can even pay for a private school. She's insisting that this kid has to be in school, and she's trying to show the world that she's working. Honestly, she's not. That's the incompetence in the entire system.
Let me interject a little. I imagine that fresh kid's background might very similarly be like Chagulanyi's. And so fresh kid might be the one looking after his family.
Which is a fact. Yeah.
You know? And so it is, you know how these people confine, they want to keep people out in poverty so that they can keep sacking. I don't know what else is left in Uganda. He's trying to, she has not thought, these people they just come up and say things. She has not thought about the consequences of this guy who is going to pay his school fees if he can't, if he's the one looking after his father. Besides, the kid goes to school. Let's be honest. Yeah. And so it is out of, I think, ignorance. I think ministers should, when we elect members of parliament, before they go, and when president appoints ministers, before they go to parliament to discuss or to advise the nation or to bring up issues, maybe they should be taught about prioritization, what is important and what is not. Because they are either bored or just absolutely dumb.
I'll say something. With the fresh kid issue, in fact, I put up a post on social media. I think some of these ministers are so irrelevant, and they always look for, they are behaving like musicians who are faded, that they jump on every situation for them to get some relevance. Nachiwala has a lot to worry about. Fresh kid is completely not on the list of our problems.
Not at all.
I have seen young kids. One time I was on Darakashia Road, and I saw at around 1 in the night. I was at the petrol station, just as you come up on Mawanda Road. I was at the petrol station there. I think it's, I don't know, it belongs to one of the guys who has so many city oil. A young girl at about 1 a.m. came selling to me maize. And I asked her, what are you doing here? 1 a.m. I'm like, you know what? My mom said if I don't finish up this maize, I cannot go back home. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, my mom is sick. I'm then supposed to take care of the family. I'm like, do you go to school? Yes, I go to school, but I have to sell the maize. I told her, how much do you have left in the basket? She told me the amount. I paid for the whole basket. I told her, you're taking back the maize. I paid for the entire lot. I paid for a boda boda, and I said, take this kid home. And I gave her even more money. Give this money to your mom. But a fresh kid is not, just imagine a young girl of about 6 years out there. She could be raped. She could be murdered. So many things would have happened to her. And then, because you're so irrelevant, you're looking for a comeback. Some of these guys are behaving like musicians. Because Since Natural has had nothing to talk about. When did we just see last year of Natural? I think in 2012. I don't know how long she has been a minister. Some of these people are looking for her. Natural has been dead for almost like a year. No one knew about Natural's existence as a minister. All of a sudden, she jumps on Fresh Kid because Fresh Kid, all the media are buzzing, are talking about, all medias are talking about Fresh Kid. As they interviewed Fresh Kid's father, and the guy said, this kid, ever since he started singing in November, he has brought us 800,000. The guy the entire family is now praising God that they've gotten a savior. This is a kid that is going to see the entire family, not even, it could be even the clan out of poverty. The father is going to test a new car because of Fresh Kid. Fresh Kid, you're going to find in the Taka, no one has boarded a plane. This kid is going to board a plane. You're going to find so many, the entire family, I believe right now, they are no longer praying, they are praising God because they've gotten someone who is going to save their family.
All right.
Let's look at the ghetto kids. I have interacted with the ghetto kids. The youngest member of the ghetto kids was here in the United States. She's 3 years old. Where is Natural? Doesn't she know that the youngest member of the ghetto kids is 3 years old?
No, she doesn't.
She traveled with
She's
the
ignorant.
triple kids when they went. That kid was in the video. Right. That Fresh Montana shot in Uganda. That kid, when they came for the US tour, the kid was a man. The people who came to the US, they spent almost 2 months, 3 months in the US touring. Where was Natural? Why is she attacking someone who has come up, the savior to this family? I think these ministers, Natural, if you're listening, find better things to do. What about the street kids that are so many in Uganda? Forget about street kid. And this is a message to the manager of street kid, of Fresh Kid. For me, in fact, I was looking for the manager. I want you to take the kid out of that school. that kid, first of all the interviews for me, I see a very intelligent kid.
Yeah, because
this kid is going to go very far. He's very intelligent. He needs a better school. You have Campfire parents, go and get him a place. If you do not have money, contact me. I'll pay money for the first term. The second term, you should should be able to get enough money to push the kid. You have Rohan Academy. This kid should be in some of those schools.
Well, that will nurture his talents.
Schools, that's where he's supposed to be. Contact me, I'm going to pay money for the first term. The second term, you should be
I'll do the second term.
You should be able to have enough money to support this kid. Take the kid out of Kawanda. He doesn't need, I saw the class where he studies from. He should be able, because first of all, we want, Fresh Kid education may not even help him so much. You've seen international stars, they did not go to school. You've seen Justin Bieber.
Right.
All what Fresh Kid right now needs is proper management, and he can even be homeschooled. Teachers in Uganda earn only 250 or even less a month. Get 2 teachers. Teachers usually teach, you find the teacher for English is the same teacher for math, isn't it?
Right.
And the teacher for science is the same teacher for SST.
Social studies, yes.
Get 2 teachers, pay them 300,000 or 500,000 a month, and let him be homeschooled. There is a lot of possibilities. Homeschooling in Uganda is as cheap as anything because those teachers, and if you're telling a teacher you're only going to attend to 1 student and I'm paying you 200,000 a month, he will be more than welcome. After all, they're attending to over 100 kids and they are shouting day and night, wasting all their organs and muscles, and they're being paid peanuts. Sweet, Fresh Kid is God. I'm telling you, he's one of the kids God has blessed. Natural, what about the street kids? What about so many other kids? And we are as Ugandans, we are going to put up a fight. He will continue performing. Don't dictate where he's supposed to perform. With proper management, whether he performs at night, with proper management, because how do you expect him to get money? I saw some people saying, oh, you should wait for him for kids shows. How many kids shows do you have in Uganda?
All right, so how many kids shows do we have in Uganda? Personally, I also believe that this kid deserves his rights to sing. Just as Sal mentioned, that he needs to just be managed well. That is the most important thing. And of course, as all of us Ugandans, what we want to see is how can we earn money? How can we make ourselves better? So that's the most important part. But guys, I want to thank you so much for, you have done a very great discussion tonight. And I think many people who are out there have learned or shared a lot or know what is going on. So one of the, because we're ending right now, and I think we will continue this discussion probably next week. First of all, I want to thank every one of you.
Thank you
for
so
the
much.
information you've put out there. Many people have been asking me, why do I ask the way I ask? Well, it's my role as a moderator to ask the way I ask, not to be part of the panelists, but just to make them bring out what is inside of them. But guys, I want to thank you so much. Norman, I want to thank you, Jumba and Sarah. Thank you so much. And for you who has been watching us tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, I would want to thank you so much. Keep sharing the programs. We'll be back next Saturday. Coming up live is Love, Sex and Money. Keep watching. Thank you.